In Chinese medicine, in the Nature Dao, which is the study of nature, the Nature Dao principles arise from the study of nature. And the study of the human body, the human spirit, and the relationship between heaven, which includes the 7 natures of weather, and earth, which includes the 5 elements, and the life that grows in between heaven and earth, are all included in the ancient study of Nature Dao. So I am on a quest to present to you the literary and profound study represented by Nature Dao. Nature Dao literally translates as the study of nature. It has no religious connotations. It has no influence, political or hierarchical, of any kind whatsoever. But it is the ancient study of China. The Nature Dao was first recorded in a literary form by Fu-Tzu, one of the 3 great demiurges of Chinese history, one of the 3 great founders, who is said to have built the foundations of Chinese culture. Fu-Tzu is thought to have lived about 6,000 years before Christ, and he gave rise to the yin-yang, the Bakwa theory. This is the yin-yang study. Yin-yang theory is the study of the polarities of nature and their relationships to each other. And this is a separate topic, of course. He gave rise to the Bakwa, which is yin-yang study and the study of the 8 fundamental conditions of the universe and how they balance, harmonize, and support each other. So this lecture, this group of lectures, is in support of the presentation of the Nature Dao Lectures, China's Legacy to a Modern World, by Professor Wong Lun. Professor stated that the Nature Dao was the specialist knowledge. The study of nature was the knowledge that came on top of the other subjects of Chinese medicine. After you've worked in clinic, after you've been exposed to a lot of people over a lot of time and realised the depth of the issues that cause disease, you must know more about the nature of life and the myriad realities of the myriad events. Order out of chaos, of all the myriad forces, of all the elements and the weather systems and the heat and the cold and the wind and the dryness and the dampness, of all of these combinations in time and place. Somehow life is born out of this chaos and displays an integral order that is, particularly at its highest manifestation, the most profound that exists. This order out of chaos is called the Tao. The Tao is the order that arises from the seemingly chaotic and random events. It is the order that somehow finds a way through this chaos and manifests a balance that can support life, and that the highest order of this life is indeed profound and wonderful. And so we will hear throughout these lectures, and certainly if you read the Nature Dao Lectures book, you will be introduced to the precepts and concepts that have their roots 6,000 years before Christ, 8,000 years ago, and the literary traditions that have stemmed right from that time through Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor, and the Huangdi Neijing, the great classic of medicine that was written 2,500 years before Christ or thereabouts. The modern version was between 200 and 500 BC. Confucius, who lived 480 BC. Lao Tzu, who of course famously wrote the Tao Te Ching. And then we have the Su Wen, the great study of nature, and the Zhenjing, the study of acupuncture and meridian theory, and also Peng Su, of course, the long-lived man, and the variety that you will experience cannot even be commented upon, because it is such an amazing presentation from a modern master. Professor Wong Lun, Order of Australia, for his services to Chinese medicine, ran the Academy of Chinese Medicine, which had a physical arts school for the study of the human body via the physical arts, which is the traditional anatomy and physiology. A medical clinic where 40 people a day were seen in medical circumstances, with all degree of medical complaints, from the worst to the easiest. A school for student education, a full-time, a five-year full-time course for the advanced diploma of Chinese medicine. Now I believe it's been constricted to 4 years. And a school of student clinical practice, and Professor was a master healer, and of course he was also a master philosopher, because the essence of Chinese medicine stems from the study of nature, the Nature Dao. And it was he that gave these lectures, and I dutifully recorded them and rendered them. I say render rather than translate or transcribe, because he told me not to copy his English, to use the English that I knew and could relate to, and make it suitable for a modern reader. He also said don't change anything, which of course complicated things a little bit, because if I'm not to use his English, but I think it turned out very well. So I'll just read a little bit of the introduction from the Nature Dao Lectures, in order for you to get a little bit of an understanding about the joy, the incredible gift that this work might present to the world. Professor Wong, his stated goal was that he felt that he had something, that China had something very, very, very special to present to the world, that could have the capacity to uplift the world. And he believed that. I heard him say that over 25 years. He was always seeking ways to introduce this wisdom knowledge to the Western world. So, this work has taken 10 years to present, and we are ready to go. Within a deep study of Chinese culture is found the discovery of fundamental truths gathered and tested over a long period of time concerning human beings and our relationships with nature. These were the subjects of particular interest to me. Chinese culture is very old. Recent reports of archaeological fossils findings at Anhui province record discoveries of skull bones dated at 2 million years of age. At Yunnan in South China, skeletal remains have been dated at 1.5 million years of age. Beijing Man is dated at 500,000 years. Nature Dao, as a statement, has its origins dating back to people from ancient Chinese generations. The meaning of this statement encapsulates concepts born from the study of nature. The people sought to understand and act appropriately to the way of natural change between the opposites within nature, the movement between yin and yang. This includes the effects of changes upon heaven and earth caused by the sun and the moon, the seasons, youth to great age, and many other aspects. What is Tao? Tao is not religion, it is a natural way of living life. Tao is the intelligence that forms the order and natural wisdom of individual life, and the way that this harmonizes with the universe as a whole. Precepts describing the way of the Tao have formed from the study of nature. I began this study while still very young, and I discovered that the people who follow this way perceive and respond to life from many different angles. There are so many religions and so many ways people say to live life. My way is to follow Nature Dao, the study of nature, the principles of which have passed down from the people of the old culture and been refined over a period of 10 to 16,000 years. Such a long time for observing a way of life, that can be said to be nature's way for human beings to live life. So that's a basic introduction, but some of the headings that we'll meet in the Nature Dao Lectures in the book. The 4 negative tendencies. And I quote, "In order to follow a way of life that will not disturb the Tao of human life, 4 tendencies of human thinking and behavior are very important to avoid. If a person adopts these tendencies in the mind, becoming caught up in the actions of their influence, then it is always very hard for their lives to be successful." So the 4 negative tendencies, Ming Li Chuan Yu. As we read on, we'll find the historic classics of Chinese culture, yin-yang theory, Nature Dao training, Tianren He Di, unity of heaven, man and earth, defining degrees of change within Wu Qi, which is the great ultimate. We'll hear Fu Zi speak about the topic, nature's action ever-changing, health as a natural state. And Fu Zi, wise persons continually strengthen themselves. It doesn't matter what path or influence one might follow or what form of meditation one might perform. The Taoist meditation is a natural form and very, very interesting. It will enhance anybody's practice of meditation. So teaching Ren Mai and Du Mai meditation, which is yang meridian and what we talked about earlier about the yang qi going down, forcing the yin qi to rise in the human body. Well, that's something you can meditate on, so that you can open the gates where the neck meets the head, the gate where the trunk meets the neck, the one halfway down at Ming Mun, and then down underneath between the legs at Hui Yin, and then just below the belly button at the Dumai, and then above the belly button, then at the heart, then at the base of the throat, and then in here. And that full rotation is so important for human health. I can't even begin to share what it's like to feel that flow in order. The physical body, all the internal pathways are open when that flow is good. And don't think that this is new knowledge or some sort of fashion. It's easy to experience. So many headings in this book. Peng Su, we've heard about, long-lived man, and Yang Shou, nourish longevity. Yang Shou is cultivate longevity. We have all the historical Nature Taoist precepts, Xing Shen He Yi, physical and spirit balance each other, plus others. We have a summary of Chinese Buddhist philosophical concepts, summary of Nature Dao training, summary of the Confucius Way, complete, a beautiful summary, exquisite. And all of these precepts, principles are expanded throughout the text. Historical perspective of Chinese culture. Confucius taught the following. There are also self-massage and self-healing practices that are detailed in incredible detail. These are the traditional practices of the Taoist and the martial arts traditions, as well as in the Buddhist traditions and the Shaolin traditions. The self-healing and breathing exercises are a stock standard part of these ancient schools, mentioned in the first page of the first introduction of the Huangdi Neijing, one of the most famous books in Chinese culture. It talks about the Tao Yin Bi, which are the breathing and the self-healing exercises of most connected to long, healthy, happy lives. Just basic. If the heart and lung don't expand and contract to their natural capacity, once again, that idea of a little bit stagnation, a little bit can't clear the rubbish, can't deliver the fresh and the clean. A basic breathing exercise is something that's just, it's nothing. And it's different from the kind of breathing you get if you go for a run or a long walk. It's not that kind, it's just a little bit different. And Tai Chi training, the purpose is to teach the coordination of breath and movement. And it's a profound exercise. It's not just a fitness, the concept of fitness and health is slightly different. The old culture there's a variation between what could be called health and something that's healthy, and fitness. A lot of today's emphasis is on fitness rather than health. So anyway, we're not going to go there now. Applying principles of Xing Shen medicine for prevention of disease. And then we have some, as we move through the book, we have, basic principles concerning the physical body. But really, it covers the qi training, the physical training, the qi training, and the spirit training. Now, I say this quickly, and you must be going, oh my God, what does all that mean? It's so much simpler than you could imagine, really. Emotional lives, principles for school education, De, Si, Qian, Te, and Mei. how to build a good character, all of these educational precepts from the history of China, all here, all in here. Zhang Sanfeng, the great Taoist practitioner. Tao is to follow the central path of life, which basically means don't go too far over one side, don't go too far over the other side. But it's. And then you've got the Taoist view of this principle, the Confucian view of this same principle, walking a central path, the Buddhist view. So you've got all of this wisdom knowledge on these profound subjects within our grasp, right here. Tao Yi concept, the mind, intellect, follows the Tao of human behaviour. If you want to know how to nurture life, you must follow an appropriate behaviour. Anyway, I'm not going to go there now either. So as we move on, we've got headings and subjects like preserving health in accord with the 4 seasons, the natural cycle of the seasons, and disorder, what happens to earth and life if you have disorder of the natural seasonal cycle. As we continue, we hear that the foundation principles of traditional Chinese medicine, Xing, Shen, physical spirit medicine, derive from the study of nature, Nature Dao. Prevention of disease is more important than the treatment of disease. What is prevention? How do you stop something get worse? How do you catch something early? How? Is anybody got any ideas on that? Eat bananas? When you live in southern Australia? I don't think so. Junsan Mei. Now we're getting subtle. The best of relationships, or the best of relationship effort, evokes a sublime experience. And now we're moving on to more emotion, spirit training, which is Jingso, refining the steps of formal meditation practice. Qingso, state of calm associated with high-level meditation. So now we're getting into into just information. Nobody's saying it's just knowledge. It's just basic knowledge, and it's knowledge, accepted knowledge. Jingso, the state of calm associated with high-level meditation. What is that? I mean, what is that? Does anybody know? And then we move on to a little bit from Confucius. Zhi So Ben Mi. This has been one of the most translated pieces of Confucius's writing. There are thousands of translations of these 4 words. Zhi So Ben Mi. And this topic is to understand everything has a beginning and a closing according to its integral nature. Not going to go there right now either. Sakyamuni, the Buddha, enhanced Yin Go. Yin is cause, Go is result. Rujing, study of how to attain a quiet, calm inner state. And now we have included in this presentation the exhalations, the breath train, some breathing exercises for self-healing. The self-healing practices belong to a great tradition. 8 terms associated with longevity. Words illustrating destructive tendencies. Qing, crystal clear mind. Jing, profound state of tranquility. So I'm just reading through the headings, the chapter headings and the paragraph headings. Ying, opportunity. Yuan, fate. Go, action. Bao, result. That's from the Buddhist tradition. And then one of the chapters covers the Confucian society and his main precepts. Shu Xing is self-cultivation. Qi Jia, regulation of family. Order in family life. Zhi Go, administration of the nature, order within the nation. And then he goes on, destructive behaviours in society. Okay. Now we move on to some Chinese medicine and Taoist ideas concerning longevity and health. How to tonify the body as we age. How to balance age and attain a healthy, long life. Yang Shen, nurture discrimination. What is of primary importance and what follows, and what to definitely reject. Yang Shen, nurture discrimination. Xing Ren, natural state of person. Xing Ren is the authentic human nature. Not going to go there now. Xing Ming. Xing is nature. In our case, it's related to our human nature. Ming is life, destiny. And towards the end, we hear a lecture from Professor Wong talking about Xing, human nature, Ming, life, destiny, and my life, and his life. And it's a stunning storytelling at the highest possible level. And so it's hard to describe what it is to understand basic life tenets, basic life tactics. You know, great beings throughout all time have always said, and you can hear it no matter in which time or which age, unnecessary suffering, and there is so much unnecessary suffering, is caused from ignorance of a better way. Educational precepts from the oldest civilization, and the word is civilization, on earth, from an ancient tradition of self-inquiry in an effort to find the way of life, of a successful life. Are here presented to the Western world and to the Western reader. And I do hope that you choose to just receive this book and look through it, because it is for everyone. It is for the the intellectual. It is for somebody just looking for a few tips to be healthy and happy. It's a reference book for basic exercises. It is in keeping with Professor's way. It's practical and simple, and yet profound and out of this world. You know, the mystical traditions of the understanding of Yuan Shen, which is the pure spirit, and the individual Yuan Shen, which is our individual spirit, and then original Yuan Shen, which is the great spirit, or the the individual spirit is the microcosmic, and then the original spirit is the macrocosmic. And when the body falls away, the body derives to chemicals, and the spirit returns to original spirit. So there's all of this mystical element as well, describing the spiritual tradition of China. It's not different from the spiritual tradition of other countries, but it is the spiritual tradition of China. So the practical and the profound. So I do hope this presentation has not been too complex or too wordy. I do implore you to read and receive this book and read it. Chinese medicine is the study of the Xing and the Shen, and the myriad complexities that form the truth are made up of different parts. If you want to study health, then you must make an individual study of each of the parts that make up health. Likewise, each of the parts that make up life. The study of medicine is the study of life, and those principles are reflected microcosmically and macrocosmically. The same principles exist. The order that arises from chaos and likewise the chaos that can afflict the order can be understood, it can be seen, it can be perceived, but you must make a study of the individual parts that make up holistic health. So I thank you with all my heart if you've made it this far into this talk, and I congratulate you on sticking with it, and I do hope that you all gain something from this wisdom knowledge, and I can assure you that it is a joy to add to any form of intellectual pursuit that you may be interested in. I have read the classics of other cultures. I have read the I Ching and the Tao Te Ching and the great Indian Bhagavad Gita, Yaneshwari. I've studied the Indian tradition, the Indian classics, and I assure you that this work is up there with the greatest of them. So please take it to heart, and it is, and you have all my blessings in your quest for a great life in service to self, the people connected to you, and if strong enough, the society and culture of our earth, because the unnecessary suffering can be alleviated, and wisdom knowledge does exist. I thank you with all of my heart, and goodbye until we meet again.